Hello everyone, this is just a short video about how we're going to be doing the project. The project is it's a two-part item. It's worth 30% of the grade for this class. It's done on an individual basis. The first part of it's going to be just submitting the project topic, which is going to include what you're going to be doing the project on, as well as maybe some of the tools that you're actually going to be using for the project. And then that's due in week number 6, and then the final project is actually due at the end of the class, or week number 11 I should say, and that's actually on Saturday of week number 11, so please be watching the due dates on that. Alright, the project is going to be basically applying, not doing research, but applying some of the tools, probably a couple of the tools from this class, 2 or 3 of the tools to this class, maybe one tool if you go really deep into it, to an actual work situation for you. Now you need to submit an actual data set for your actual company or that of somebody very close to you, so it needs to be actual data. It can't be something that you made up. What you can do is you can submit actual data and take out unnecessary or basically sensitive information fields, or just kind of change those if that need be. Alright, so a little bit of some hints on the project. An application of tools learned in this class, again, not a research project. If what you submit is a research project, you'll get a below satisfactory grade at best, right? You must provide actual data set, though you can actually change or delete fields for customer, employee, etc. names to protect sensitive information. I can't tell you how long the project should be. It needs to be efficient and effective. It does need to show any a use of term-wide learning. Right, so something you put together in a week is probably not going to be a good grade. Right, one file for the project itself will include any charts, tables, and graphs. So that's probably going to be a Word file, and it should include visuals. Right, you can also include an Excel file that includes the backup data set. Again, that needs to be real data. So you have one file that's going to be the actual project, which is going to include any visuals, and that might include, for example, screen print, screencasts of QM for Windows or QM for Excel. If you use that for your towards your data set, towards some of the tools, or other graphs and charts as well. All right. Early submission will not be reviewed, so if you email me your project, I won't be reviewing it and submitting it back to you. If you submit the project like a week early and it's way off, there needs to be something that needs to be changed in there, something needs to be updated. I may take a quick look at it that way, but I won't promise you that I will review it and give you feedback and ask you to resubmit. It may be just graded the way it's submitted. Right? Project topic submission, again, is due in week number 6. Right? That can be changed. Your project topic that you submit in week 6 can be changed if it's found that that doesn't actually work. The actual project, and again, that's part of week number 6 homework, so that's in the same document as the module 6 homework. And then in week number 11, on a Saturday, the project is actually due. I would suggest that you use the 3 weeks of break that's included in the class. That would be a week at Thanksgiving and 2 weeks at Christmas and New Year's, in order to do a little bit of research for the project. Right? You don't need an abstract for the project. You might think about reading ahead, and again, as you're doing your reading, trying to think about tools that you might apply, or how you might apply tools in the class to a specific work situation for you or a family member. Again, it doesn't have to be actually you. It could be a friend of yours, somebody that you work with, or somebody that you're very close to, a family member or something like that. Right? Some of the tools you might think about using: a balanced scorecard using the 4 dimensions and key measures that you would, for example, identify financial performance of the company. Productivity indexes, process yield, and possibly suggestions to increase those numbers. Forecasting, that's not covered in this class. It's a major part of another MBA class, and that should not be included as a major tool. You could indirectly reference forecasts in your project, but that would be not a major tool that you would be using. Product life cycle analysis, key figures may be in the history of your project, of the product, current situation for the product, and a forecast for future for the company. Standardization that you might suggest for product, part, assembly, etc. Citing that savings that you might get by standardization of some of the items, and then loss of sales through lack of variations. Quality function development matrix, customer requirements important to the customer, technical requirements. A house of quality matrix is another suggestion that you might use. A service blueprint is something that's fairly easy to apply. Capacity utilization and efficiency calculations. Use of process and cellular layouts and how they might improve efficiency and effectiveness, right? How maybe things are done right now and how you might change things to make things more efficient for the company, right? Line balancing for improving efficiency, including a precedence diagram. You might use a Mother grid for closeness ratings. You might perform time studies and project time standards. Location planning is more related to other MBA classes and would not be a tool that would be cited for this project, though you can indirectly reference it. Quality management standards. It might be especially applicable, for example, if you're a hospital where quality standards might be needed for liability insurance, for government and private insurance reimbursements, etc. Check sheets, histograms, Pareto diagrams, scatter diagrams, control charts, run charts, cause and effect diagrams, those are all related to quality. Range charts, mean charts, P charts for quality management. Note that many of these tools might be used together. Continuing on, some other tools might be aggregate plans based on forecasts. Be sure to explain any assumptions made and cite actual forecasts. That might be especially important when the organization is looking for staff reductions. Again, that's a little bit different than forecasting, this chapter on forecasting, but this is aggregate planning for forecasts, right? Master production schedule and available to promise inventory. ABC categorizing of inventory or supplies that you have and control methods that would be applicable to different categories of inventory. Figuring out economic order quantity and economic production quantities as well as reorder point. Safety stock, what you should have for safety stock in order to meet and what the service level requirements would be in order to a safety stock that would provide for you. So, for example, you might want to project a safety stock that you should have on hand to meet a 95 or 98% service requirement. Materials requirement plan, which would include bill of materials. You might pick up a use of tack time. You might use a Kanban system. You might apply value stream mapping. So these are all in chapters that we covered. There's a few chapters at the end of the class that you might want to include if that so interests you, like supply chain management. There might be a couple things you might want to read in there that you might, if you can't think of something, if you think of that, it might be more applicable. The project can apply to your situation or to somebody very, very close to you, but again, needs to include an actual data set. You need to provide a reasonable introduction into the company, the purpose of the project, and expected use of outcomes. There is no rubric specifically for the project because each project is unique, and point values, key points, etc. will vary with each project for every individual student. The project needs to show a master's degree level of the use of English language, grammar, and sentence structure. Be sure you might want to use bulleted points, numbered lists, tables, graphs, etc. to make the project more visually appealing, easier to follow, summarize key points, provide supplementary data, terms, and definitions. Right, just text is really boring and hard for a reader to follow. Be sure to express a conclusion. Right? I hope this is somewhat helpful to you to get you started on the project, and I will post this in unit number 2 for you. Thanks.